Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. All right, peace and blessings to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son. Right, shout out to the sister Mary of Bethany that anointed our King with the precious ointments before His burial. And also, shout out to our ancestors that chose death before dishonor. Right, it's your brother Obadiah, man, from the Hopeful Elect, coming at you with a lesson, man. And I actually seen a brother. What inspired me to make this video was I seen a brother going into this a lesson called the bad apple effect. So that made me look into it because I ain't never really heard the bad apple effect. I heard birds of a feather flock together, and it's kind of similar. It's kind of similar. It's kind of the same thing when it with the bad apple effect. But when I looked into it, it just made me, want to do a lesson on this, especially when I'm also doing another lesson on the Camp channel, going into the seven churches that you read about in Revelation, starting in chapter 2, going into the seven churches, breaking down each characteristic that the churches had, what they lacked, what they had good. So just touching on that, man. So I think it's a good lesson to kind of go along with those lessons I've been doing. And this should be a good examination lesson as well. Just encouragement to examine yourself. What I'm saying, examine yourself, make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to doing. Make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, man, that's what we're supposed to do. The Bible says examine ourselves daily. So, Lord willing, this be an edifying video. But we're going to get into this thing. I got the blowing of the shofar. Before we get into every lesson, we blow the shofar, man. But before I get the blowing of the shofar, I want to put this out because the date has changed. It was February the 26th, the homeless event. It was February 26th, but now we changed it to the 28th. So that will be Saturday instead of Thursday at 4 o'clock. So if anybody didn't see the flyer, yeah, we got a homeless drive coming up, man, February the 28th. And it says, we got a scripture right here, Tobit 12:9. Those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. So we know how, the Most High God feel about alms and how He always speak about looking out for the homeless of our people. Our people that's less fortunate. That our people that's struggling. So it's good to do these things to give to our people, man. No, we don't do it for vainglory, no recording, no pictures to post and things like that. We ain't trying to do this for vainglory and for people to like and comment and wow, y'all are doing a good deed. Like you see a lot of these YouTube content creators doing nowadays. They do it for vainglory, but this is something that we want to do. That's kind of stay off social media with. And it says collecting clothes, food, water, and hygiene products. So these are things that we collect, and if any brother and sister want to pull up, and most of these homeless people that be out there where we being at, we're gonna be downtown Macon, Cherry Street, 31201. A lot of these, cause we done did this before a few times, and it kind of be the same people coming up. It'd be a few new faces, but most of these people we see majority of the time. Then some of them stop by and listen to the word a few times, but for the most part, they real chill. They real chill, down to earth people. Thank you. They always hit you with a thank you and things like that. So brothers and sisters don't got to be scared to come out. I know sometimes our people, may think about less fortunate people, and then they kind of get scared because, they don't know what they thinking about. Well, some is like that, though. I ain't gonna say some. You do got some like that, but I just know the area we be in downtown. They kind of know our faces and things like that, and how to respond, in certain situations. But yeah, we collecting clothes, food, water, hygiene products, and it will be women out there as well giving too. So if you're a woman as well, or you a wife, come pull up. You ain't gonna just be men out there. Maybe kids out there too as well. Out there with us as well too. So yeah, food, clothes, water, hygiene products, free will offering, donations to Cash App. Because I know a few people that may not be able to come to the homeless event, whether they busy or they rather they may be out of state, out the country, whatever. I know if some people already done started sending money to the Cash App, and we're gonna use that money that people send to get things for the homeless brothers and sisters. May get some food, water, may get some hand warmers since it's kind of cold out there. Get some socks, underwear, jackets for them. So if you can't make it and you want to still give alms, this is our Cash App right here, the Hope for Lake 12. And if you have any questions, right? If you have any questions about anything about the homeless drive, it's hopefulelect12@gmail.com. That's our email, hopefulelect12@gmail.com. Anybody welcome to come up. Anybody got, anybody feeling in a spirit. You know how they say in Christmas, during Christmas time, giving spirit. If anybody got a giving spirit to come out to the homeless drive, man, and give, or you got some old clothes you don't wear, some old shoes that you don't wear, and you trying to figure out what you want to do with them, hey, man, pull up to the homeless event and give them away. Give them away free, man. So, yeah, Lord willing, man, we'll see y'all there. Whoever watching, Lord willing, you pull up, we'll see you then. But, yeah. So, Con, let's get the blowing of the shofar. We'll start the lesson off. All praise to the Most High, man. So what I've been realizing, especially getting into Revelation, and just reading about the 7 churches, man, it make you really realize, yeah, you got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You can't be responsible for another person's salvation, but the Most High can look at your church or your congregation and see how y'all moving though. You know what I'm saying? You can get judged by how your congregation moving. Like if the Most High, just imagine if the Most High wrote a letter, if you're in a congregation or a church, and the Most High God or Christ, right? He wrote a letter to your camp or congregation. What would he have to say? And this was really what made me. I was just thinking about this, man. I'm like, this what made me really want to go harder and our congregation as well too. I hit him with that question on live. I was like, man, if the Most High God sent a letter to our congregation, what would he have to say? If he was getting into all different topics, they had the fruits of the spirit, right? Was they zealous for the law? Did they check on each other? Did they was they moving in sincerity? Did they communicate? Was everything done decently in order? Did they keep the feast days with mirth and gladness? Or was he gonna be like, well, they were slothful. They barely made lessons. They really didn't want to go out to teach. At the feast days, they were going through the motions. There was their wives, the brothers' wives wasn't in order, right? The wives, the brothers, they was beefing. The kids was being disobedient to the parents. Like what can the Most High God say about our church? And just thinking about that, it makes you want to hold each other accountable even more. It makes us want to, look at it more, because this is a family, man. We know that. And you got to pray for your congregation, man. Of course, pray for not even just your congregation, but pray for the nation of Israel. And I'm not talking about the Israelis. I'm talking about the Israelites. We got to pray for our nation automatically. But some people tend to forget to pray for their congregation, because these are the people that you are most closest to, right? These are the people that you really like, maybe around during Jacob's trouble when all hell broke loose. These are the people that became your family for real. You know what I'm saying? So we have to pray that the Most High God grow. I got a prayer. I got like a prayer book right here, man. I got a prayer book right here. I be putting all different type of prayers in it, man. I got a prayer for the nation, right? The Israelites, and I also got a prayer for my congregation I'm in. And that's something very important to pray, man, because Satan after congregations, right? Satan after congregations, he after the man, he after the woman. You know what I'm saying? If he see you trying to do good as a congregation, he gonna bring you down. He gonna try to bring you down, but this is why we have to be, hold each other accountable and don't be just going through the motions and treating this thing like it is what it is. But I'm gonna touch on that some more when I get into this lesson. But it says the bad apple effect describes how one negative or toxic person in a group can significantly harm overall team performance, moral, or cohesion. So this is going into like how if you have a person or a group of people this is going into like a team, like even a basketball, football team, but I'm kind of talking about a congregation in this lesson, so I'm gonna say congregation or a church. If you have one person or two or three people in your or even more in your congregation, if they got toxic behavior, lukewarm behavior, that can rub off on the rest of the congregation. It says, much like a rotten apple spoiling others in a barrel, research shows a single bad apple, like a jerk, lazy person, or a complainer, can reduce group output by 30 and 40% increase conflict. So, people don't really realize how a person can play a part in a downfall of an organization or a group. You know what I'm saying? If you got a person that's lukewarm, that's going through the motions, if you have a person that's lazy, that don't really want to do the work, you have a person that's you got a person that's a person that's kind of what's some examples? A person that really don't want to be there at camp, a woman that really don't want to serve her husband, as the Bible say, they kind of want to do their own thing. A person that's a person that's always got anger, always want to fight, or a person that always want to, cause confusion. Sometimes not willingly, but that's just a spirit that person, a man, a woman, a child may have. It says can reduce group output by 30 to 40%, increase conflict, and lower work quality. So, spirits hop. That's something that we always say in this walk. Spirits hop. If you're around a person all the time that may be battling lust, if you're around a person all the time that may be battling fornication, or a person that's slothful, that spirit can hop on you, and it's like a cancer. It's like a cancer, especially if that person like a deacon or a bishop or a pastor of a congregation, and he's like the person of the face of the, I ain't gonna say face of the congregation. The Most High is supposed to be face, but the person that's maybe a leader of a congregation. If that person is slacking, right? If that person is, going off, then the people that's in that person's organization or church, that it can spread like a cancer if there's no order. If it's nothing established. And you have to truly think, if you have a church or a congregation or a camp and a new person wants to join your congregation and camp, will that new person gain something or will he get worse? Because you have some people join congregations and they become a better man, a better woman, a better husband, a better wife, a better daughter, a better son. But you have some people may join a congregation and they become even worse than they was before. Why? Because it's no type of order, right? It's nothing set up, for this person to truly grow. It's just, and it's nothing wrong with we know ain't nothing wrong with going out to camp. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with going out to camp, but that can't be the main thing. And I'm right now talking to brothers that really go out and teach right here, man. Right? That can't be the main focus. Right? That's the only time we really communicate is at camp. Right? That's the only time that we really see each other. The only time we really speak and talk to each other is at camp. Then all the rest of the week, we don't really communicate. That can't be like that, man, because a person that may join the congregation is gonna be like, he gonna think that's okay, or she gonna think that's okay. Well, it's okay not to communicate, right? It's okay not to have no order. It's okay to do whatever you want to do, long as you ain't going off, but it's okay to kind of to skip a lesson, right? It's okay to skip a lesson. You tired. It's okay not to get on and make a lesson. Right? It's okay not to fast. You can fast whenever you can. It ain't. We know we gotta fast, but it ain't no big deal really. You know what I'm saying? No, we gotta. This is very important, man. It's very important. Oh, bro, you ain't coming to camp. Oh, it's all right. You can't make it to camp. It's all right, bro. Bro, you 2 hours late for camp without nobody saying nothing. It can't be like that, man. It have to be order, right? Everything, it have to be, because if that behavior can spread. One person do it, another person think they can do it. Then this person think they can do it. Not everything is all out of place. And the Most High said, let everything be done decently in order. Everything must be done decently in order, man. That's how you gonna build a bond with your congregation. That's how you gonna build a family type bond. I ain't talking about just no bond like a Rudy Poo bond. Like it's just, it is what it is. We don't, you know what I'm saying? No, it got to be a bond of like a family bond. The same way you look at your family, your blood family, you have to look at your congregation like that. Mainly even more though, because what Christ said, who is my father and my mother? The ones that do the will of my Father which is in heaven. So not only to your congregation, but the people in the truth, of course. But the reason I'm just singling out congregation is because this is what the lesson is about. This is why I'm singling out congregation and camps and things like that. So when it comes to your congregation and camp, you want to build a bond to where y'all can trust each other, man. Y'all going through it. The brothers going through it. The brother should feel comfortable to talk to the brother. The brother's about what he going through. If he need help financially, physically, spiritually, he should be comfortable. They should have a bond to the point he feel comfortable to talk to this brother. The sister, right? The sister may be going through something. She should feel comfortable going to talk to these sisters, man. It shouldn't be like, I don't want to talk to him or her because they may tell my business and they may look at me funny, and you know what I'm saying? It can't be like that, man. It's just like football and sports. Your coach job is to get the players to have a bond in the family. That's all the time they talked about. When I played sports, it was a family thing. You're supposed to be looking at these players as your family. Y'all, that way y'all work out together, y'all practice together, y'all playing games together. Because that's supposed to be your family. Same way in this truth, man. He say, my bad, he said, they said, in lower work quality, even in skilled teams, demonstrating that negative behavior is highly contagious. That's at a congregation, work field, all that. It's contagious. Negative behavior, and the main thing in this truth when it comes to negative behavior is really that slothful spirit. That slothful spirit is what passed on to everybody in the congregation when it's like it ain't no zeal there. It's a every man, every woman for themselves. That's how I feel. Every man, every woman for themselves. Like, we are taught when we talk. It ain't. You know what I'm saying? That's how it feels, and that spreads among the congregation, and everybody got that. It is what it is. Like, it don't feel like a family bond. It just feel like we here for work. It just feel like we here to labor together. But what about the other days? It don't feel like a family. Only time we really hang out is at the feast days. We the brothers now, before I had joined the congregation, they had something established. They do something called men's night. When they link up every Thursday, they had that established when they link up every Thursday and go out to eat and kind of have that bond. And I thought that was real cool, man, because I'm like, man, that's something that's very important. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't really think about it until they was doing it, and I'm like, that's something very important, man. That's how you build a bond. That's how you build a bond when you going out. You have a day, you go out every Thursday, talk to brothers. Y'all may have regular conversations, or may have the Bible get brought up. Y'all playing devil advocate, or talking about the sports and things like that. That's how you build a connection with the people that you're laboring with. The people that you are in a congregation or a church with. That's how you grow. You know what I'm saying? That you sharpen each other's sword with doctrine. Sharpen each other's sword. I remember one time, the brother Isaiah, who was out there teaching, and he was playing. Nobody wasn't coming up to listen to the words, so we was just kind of talking, and he pretended like he was a Christian, and he was going around, playing devil advocate, and he was defending the Trinity, and it was some good edification in that, man. It was some great edification. Although we didn't really do it as long because somebody ended up walking up, but the time that we did do it, it was good, man. Because that's how you truly grow in knowledge with the people that you're around. You got to make sure everybody got to know something. You can't just have one person that's the only person that can teach. You got to have everybody should know how to deal with this scenario or this situation if it's thrown. I was playing I had played devil advocate today in the group chat, man. I had asked a question to the brothers, just kind of playing devil advocate. But brother had brought some good precepts out. I ain't gonna lie, brothers had brought some good precepts out to the question. But that's how you sharpen your sword a little bit, by playing devil advocate, and then getting that back. Yeah. So I think that's all I wanted. Late. This one's good. This one's good. Because I was going into that lazy. It's really a slothful spirit, and that's the thing that goes on a lot. It says, I want to read the definition they had back. All right. So what happened? Where it went? Oh, right here. It says, disengages. This is going into the lazy person, or the slothful person. Disengages, does the bare minimum, or doesn't pour their fair share. So it's like, a person or a people or a group of people, because it don't have to be just one person. It could be like 4 or 5 people. You can have like 10 people in your congregation, and it can be like, it starts with one person, then it spreads to another person, and now everybody's slothful. Nobody don't really want to do nothing. So it's like, it says, does the bare minimum, or doesn't pour their fair share. So you don't want to. It shouldn't be like you only have one person that's pulling the load. They feel like, I'm doing all of this, but it's like, I'm the only person doing this though. Like, I'm the only person that feel like I really want to do this. Like, it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that bad apple spread. You have it always end up with that one person that's really trying to hold things and really trying to trying to be on fire, and then that person feel like, dang, like I can't keep, I feel drained. Because I feel like I'm the only person that's really, really trying for real. And that can be draining. So that's what it's talking about, man. That bad apple effect, right? So let me get some scripture. Let me get a scripture. Let me get some. I got a couple scriptures. I don't plan this to be a long lesson. I don't even know how long it is right now. I don't know how long I've been on here, but yeah. 2 Corinthians 13:5. It says, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ, or Yahweh Shai, is in you, except you be reprobates. So, excuse me. So we gotta examine ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Examine ourselves. Are we doing as much as we can? Are we putting forth the effort, or are we comfortable? Right? Are we comfortable with just, just going through the motions, barely talking as a congregation, right? Barely getting in the word together. You know what I'm saying? Are we comfortable? Are we comfortable with that? Are we comfortable with just dropping one lesson a week? Right, just one lesson a week. Sometimes it be no lesson a week, but we comfortable with dropping one lesson a week. No, we comfortable with with going to camp. We're comfortable with going to camp, but can we do more? Are we cutting it short because we got somewhere to be? Are we trying to do something else, so we cutting camp short? These are things you ask yourself when you examine yourself. You examine matters, you sit down and think, am I holding my congregation back? Right? Am I being a cancer to my congregation? Right? Is things in order in the congregation? How can I get better with it? What can we do better to be on fire for the Lord? How can we be better to have things established, so if a man or woman or child do want to join the congregation, it'll be like a family. It won't be odd and weird, like they get into the congregation, they feel a weird distant spirit and everybody beefing, and it's like it's fake love. People barely want to talk at the feast days. It's like everybody in one corner. He in this corner, he in this corner, she in this corner, she in this corner. It's like it's fake love. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and like, it ain't real. It ain't real. No, it ain't real. They can feel it's not being real. That's something that we have to examine. And I say we because I'm not I ain't pointing no fingers, you know what I'm saying? We ain't pointing no fingers. We is a nation, and we all got to get better with something. Everybody struggle with something, right? So I ain't gonna never be the type to, Lord willing, to point no fingers and be like, you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to do that. We all got things we got to get better with. But know ye not that your own selves are the red ants. So yeah, examine ourselves, yourself. I know a lot of time we get this scripture. I know a lot of time we bring this scripture out when Passover season is around, but this should be brought out yearly. Galatians 5:9. A little leaven, my bad, yeah, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. So the Bible said a little leaven leavens the whole lump, man. So if you have a little leaven within your church, it can pass on and it can leaveneth everybody else. So just say for a perfect example, just say it's a gossip spirit going on right in your church, or it's like a lust spirit going on within your church, and a person got it, and it may be secretive. A person may be hiding it, or just say a person join your congregation, right? And they come in and they got a spirit of gossip. They gossip back and forth. That can spread among the whole congregation. Now, the next thing you know, the whole congregation gossiping. Next thing you know, the whole congregation is battling. They wondering like, dang, why the hell? Why do I keep, having these wet dreams? Why do I keep, getting the urge to watch, a website? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's because somebody may be doing that secretly, and they're around you. And what the bad apple effect? It hopped. That spirit, it hopped on the next sister, and it hopped on the brother. So now everybody in the congregation lusting, and they don't know why, because a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So that's something that we got to be very mindful of, man. Within, if you having a congregation or a church, man, you have to be mindful of the people that's in your congregation, man. You have to be mindful. You have to be mindful of the spirits within your congregation that can spread, within this matter. This is a serious matter. So a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So let me get I think I had another one. First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 27. It say this in the Apocrypha. Right? It says, and Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So, Mattathias didn't want no lukewarm people around him. Right? Mattathias didn't want no people that, that wasn't trying to be zealous, that wasn't challenging themselves to better what they reading, better what they studying. He wanted the people around him that were willing to die for this law. They were willing to put the work in for this law, literally put all your time in this thing, man. Be willing to die. He said, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. You love the law, right? You love putting the work in. You willing to die for the Lord. Come follow me. So that's something that he said, man, and that's something that we truly gotta think about. The congregation, the church, whatever you call it, they gotta be zealous for the law. And being zealous for the law is not just going to camp. That's not the only thing. Being zealous, just going to camp. It got to be a weekly thing, man. Being zealous is reading, challenge yourself with reading, challenge yourself with studying, fasting, communicating with your brothers, sending precepts, just all different stuff. Sisters, I be forgetting to speak on sisters as well too. But yeah, sisters play a part in the congregation as well too, man. Sisters play a part. Sisters ain't excused from this. Sisters, you got a role as well too. And if this same thing can happen to sisters, man. The same thing can happen to sisters. If it's a situation going on in a congregation, right, with sisters, the men in the congregation can't be like, well, they tripping, like that's them. Like if it's a situation with two women, just say I'm gonna use two examples. With two women, they may not be married. They're in a congregation and they not married, but you could tell, they done got into it. Now the men that's over the congregation, they can't just be like, they just they being women, them hormones. It's the men's job to try to fix it, right? To talk to them. And y'all gotta, what I'm saying? Hey, you gotta set a council, had them in there, talk to them, and y'all have a conversation, man. Because they need to fix that. They need to fix it and they need to know what they're doing. It's not right, man. It's not right. And they need to fix it. And not even just sometimes the men don't have to do that. If it's other women in the congregation, they can step up and they can tell them, hey, what y'all got, sis, what y'all got going on? I noticed y'all been side-eyeing each other. I know y'all don't usually do that. Y'all usually joking, but what's going on? Right? Y'all want to talk about it? This need to be fixed. We got to talk about this, man. We can't keep doing this. That's how you build a congregation. That's how you build a congregation up, man. Because that builds trust, right? That builds love. Because although they may not want to sit and talk to each other, they may not want to. They upset with each other. But it's like them seeing that people care about that, right? What they got going on and trying to fix that what builds it, right? That's what builds character, and that's what builds a bond within a family, a congregation, which is a family. That what builds it, man. Something going on within a congregation, and people know, like it ain't right. You got the spirit of discernment. You know that it's something going on. Rather, it's people, you got something against each other, and they you could tell that the love ain't there. That got to be fixed. You know what I'm saying? That got to be fixed. That can't be just can't sit there. That got to be fixed, because what the scripture said, a little leaven of just letting that sit, it just it'll fix it, right? It is what it is. Like, sometimes you can't control stuff like that. No, if a little leaven leavens the lump, a little leaven leaveneth the lump. So that just sits there, and what if it don't get fixed, or another situation happen? It's like it never gets fixed, and it's gonna continue to happen. But once these things get fixed, and you know how to maneuver and handle these situations, it's gonna continue to get better, man. It's gonna continue, because like I said, that's how you grow. That's how you grow, man. So it have to be I love, to the point where it got to be love, where like gotta be able to give correction, and a person gotta know how to take correction. Like, and it may take some time for a person to learn how to take correction. It may take, but if the more y'all build that bond, the easier to get to take that correction. But if it ain't no bond within the congregation, then people gonna always think, oh, bro, he got something against me, bro. Like, they always gonna take it as like personal. You know what I'm saying? They always gonna always take it personal when the dude always coming at him, and always, bro, you gotta do this, bro. Bro, you tripping, bro. What you got going on, bro? You ain't that camp. You know what I'm saying? You ain't reading loud, and bro, but never tell him when he doing good. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, y'all barely talk. Y'all in the congregation, but y'all barely talk. So when he get corrected, he gonna look at you sideways, because y'all don't got that bond. But if y'all have that bond, and y'all know what I'm saying, that brother come to you, correct you, he gonna know, okay, this out of love. This ain't out of no, jealousy or spite. I know this person, and I know him. I know her. So they ain't gonna come at me on those sideways stuff like that. But it comes with building a relationship with these people that you see and talk to almost every day, that you have feast days with, that you go out and labor with, right? That you may go out to eat with, right? That you may be on video calls with. You got to build that bond, and then things it'll get easier. But let me get this scripture right here. All right. I had to make sure I was sharing my screen. I know sometimes I don't be sharing my screen, but did I have another one? Yeah, I got one. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, and verse 17. Iron sharpens iron. Nah, and now the folk be saying in the Baltimore, iron sharpen iron, iron sharpen iron, iron sharpen iron. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So iron sharpen iron, man. If you see your brother, or if you see your sister, you see them in error, right? If you see them in error, you gotta sharpen them. You gotta sharpen her. You gotta sharpen him. If they're in error, sharpen them, correct them. That's how you're gonna grow, right? Correction is how you grow as not only a congregation, but as a nation. But if that bond not there, if it's nothing built, if it's built on, if it's built on nothing that's not standing, then that iron sharpen iron is gonna be like more. They're gonna, like, you stabbing each other instead of sharpening each other. It's gonna be like stabbing each other. It's gonna feel like you're getting stabbed with a knife or a sword. It's gonna feel like you're getting attacked instead of corrected through the spirit, because the bond is not there. You see what I'm saying? So it's good to build that bond, and it's good to also weed out bad apples. It's also good to weed out bad apples. Sometimes if that bad apple too rotten, you gotta cut it off the tree. Right? I ain't talking about kill it. I ain't talking about kill nobody, but you might gotta part ways with that rotten apple because nobody wants to eat a rotten apple. Nobody wants a rotten apple in a garden, you know. So sometimes you gotta part ways with a rotten apple. A person that just don't want to get right, right? A person that is always, you know, is always something, right? Because if you don't cut that rotten apple, it's gonna spread amongst the garden. There's gonna be more rotten apples. There's gonna continue to be more rotten apples until that apple is cut or until that apple is fixed, till that situation is fixed, right? So I just want to touch on this, man. I didn't want it to be a long lesson. Like I said, I seen a brother making a lesson on this today, and I was like, man, I want to touch on this congregation edition though. I'm gonna title it congregation edition and touch on different aspects of a bad apple within a congregation. How can the person with a bad apple affect everybody else? And birds of a feather flock together. That's a saying, right? Birds of a feather flock together. And I said this in my last lesson I did last week, going into the 7 churches. I touched on 2 of them, the first 2, and I was like, man, it's good to surround yourself around people that got the same mindset and the same zeal and goal like you do. Because even when you read about in the New Testament, when you had that person, I know Christ healed a person because of his friend's faith. He healed that person because of the faith that they had that he could do it. So the people in your circle can play a part within your life if they truly, moving sincerely. And I was thinking, like, you know, if you when you truly think about these churches, man, you can be a person that putting that work in for the Lord. You can be the person that's constantly making videos, a person that's sincere, going out to teach, a person that's, you know, zealous. But if you're around more people that have a different type of spirit than you gonna receive that same letter that they're receiving. Like when you read about these churches, right? When you read about these churches, for an example, let me get an example. When you read about this, and I brought this, I had touched on this last week. When you get the church of Ephesus, right? You know, the Lord was basically saying they had the works, they had the labor, they had the patience. They was rebuking people that was calling themselves apostles and wasn't. But they lost their first love though. They lost the zeal and the sincerity that they had for the Lord. Now, you think everybody in this church was like this? I don't know. It don't say, but I don't believe everyone in this church, you know, that lost their first love. It probably was a lot more people that lost their first love than it was people that didn't. So even these people received that letter as well too, that didn't lose their first love, that was on fire, was sincere. They was with this church, so they received the letter with them. So me saying that is to say you have to be careful on the people you surround yourself around, because you may not be like them, but you may receive that same letter or that judgment, you know, from the Lord with them, because you with them. Just like you know, just like a person that may not gang bang, but he around the person that gang bang, and the person do a drive-by shooting. He got shot with Buddy, but he don't gang bang though. He was just around them though. He was just in that same area with him. He got shot. He got shot with him. He died with him. So that's an example of who you around can affect you, man. It can affect you physically. It can affect you spiritually. It can affect your zeal for the Lord, man. Because the point of brothers and sisters in the congregation is to build each other up. It's to build each other up and to grow in the walk. But if it's like it's on you, it's like you feel like it's not there, that can drain you. especially if you really want, especially if you sincere and want something done for the Lord, and everybody else kind of going through the motions, that can drain you, man. That can drain you. It can have you want to be distant. It can have you, question things. It can have you feel like that, man. It can feel like a load is on your back. So that's why it's good to surround yourself with like-minded people that's going to literally feel like you're getting built up, instead of like you either stuck or you're decreasing in this walk. So Lord, when this video is edifying, man. Lord, when this video is edifying to the nation. Yeah. Lord willing, this video is edifying, and Lord willing, we all examine ourselves. Lord willing, we all examine ourselves, man, because this is very serious, man. And how you have things set up, how you have things in order, like the scripture say again. I keep saying this: let everything be done decently in order. Everything has to be in order. Everything has to be established. And I always remember, be real with yourself, and always remember, if the Most High was writing a letter to your church, do you feel like it would be positive, or do you feel like it would be like a rebuke letter to your congregation if he wrote something to it right now, at this moment? What would that letter look like? What do you think that letter would look like if the Lord wrote a letter to your congregation or your church or your ministry, whatever you want to call it? So this your brother Obadiah with the hopeful elect. And I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God in the name of his only begotten Son. And I say shalom. Peace and blessings to the 12.